Community Forum is sponsored by the Easton Grange 196 and a friend of Yardley Wood Rink and the Easton Lions Club.
There's a storm across the valley, the clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is June 4th, 2025, and this is your host, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, welcoming today two of our finest Eastern residents who are going to share about a wonderful concert that's coming up on June 8th. So welcome David Olson.
Hello.
And Asiya Korepanova to our show.
For having us.
So
Yes.
David, tell us a little bit about this musical program at the Unity Church.
Yes, so Easton is celebrating its 300th anniversary, as well as Unity Church is celebrating its 150th anniversary this year. And we have put together a concert series to honor both. And an Easton resident, Asiya Korepanova, has been instrumental in getting this series of 4 concerts together. We've had the concerts go along with the seasons. We've had our spring concert already. Coming up on June 8th is the summer concert, and we have Rodney, Marsalis, and Asiya performing. This will be trumpet and piano music. In the fall, we have a violinist coming in September and is going to be doing a program around Vivaldi's 4 Seasons. And then in the winter, Asiya will be here to do a Christmas program. So it's a great series of concerts. And we are looking forward to it, and we had a great response to our first concert, the spring concert, and up to this point we're having a very good response to our summer concert. Tickets are on sale, and you can get those through the Unity Church of Northeastern website. And we still have plenty of tickets, but I've also heard from a lot of people that they're coming but haven't purchased their tickets yet. So make sure that you go on and buy your tickets to make sure you have one, because we do have a limited space in the church.
What is the site?
The website is unitychurchofnortheastern.org. And there, right on the main page, you will see our events, and you can click to purchase tickets for our summer concert.
And it's Unity Church of Northeastern.org.
Yep.
And I know I attended the spring concert, and Asiya, you were just wonderful. And let's tell our audience a little bit about your background, because you are a world-renowned pianist, concert pianist, and you travel all over the world. And to think that you live in Easton and you're one of our treasures. So tell us a little bit about your background.
I was born in Russia, and I got my primary education there, and I went to Moscow and St. Petersburg Conservatory as a pianist to study. But then I moved to the United States in 2012 and got my doctoral degree at the University of Miami, studying with a fantastic Cuban-American pianist, Santiago Rodriguez. And me and my husband, we settled in Easton. We love the history here, and New England is, of course, very, very attractive for so many reasons, cultural and natural, and so many things that we love here. And in the very beginning, when we came to this town, we noticed the Unity Church, and we were just marveling at the beautiful space and so much art that is packed in there, and the beautiful acoustics also. As a musician, it is hard not to notice those things. And the organ is very, very beautiful at the church as well. So I'm very fortunate that the church and I have come to an agreement that I was able to come and practice on the organ, which was such a big deal for me. And of course, coming and practicing and playing a lot of music, I thought that would be just amazing to offer to my community what I'm doing elsewhere, because I'm traveling extensively. I just came from a tour in Switzerland. I'm running a concert series in New York City on Manhattan, and doing a lot of things elsewhere. But we as performing arts professionals, we're so used to being on the road and doing things elsewhere. So to have an opportunity to do something in your hometown, where you just like, you drive for 3 minutes and you can offer your art to your fellow members of your community, is just priceless.
Now you mentioned that you just, did you just mention that you came back from Switzerland?
Yes.
And where were you in Switzerland?
I was in Zurich area, performing in Zurich, in Wenneberg, in Wetzikon, in Bern. I had a series of concerts with a colleague who's a fantastic percussionist, a marimba player, and so we had a duo concert, duo program that we were traveling with out and about for 10 days.
Well, I must say that your music and your performance are extraordinary.
Thank you.
Extraordinary. I don't recall hearing anyone who is so professionally adept as you are. Your virtuosity.
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 Thank you.
Is just amazing, and so I recommend the people of Easton to come and experience something that they probably will never experience again in their lifetime. Except, of course, in the fall when you it's Christmas when you perform again, and I'm sure you'll be performing in the future. But this is an extraordinary moment and event for the people of Easton.
I just find it such a wonder that we have a world-class musician living here in our town, and that she has so graciously offered to share that talent with us. I think it's important for everyone to come out and at least hear one of these concerts, because they are fantastic.
Thank you.
Right. And the other amazing thing about this particular concert is the fact that Rodney Marsalis, trumpeter of the famous Marsalis trumpeter family, is performing. Now, how in the world did you find him? Is that was that due to you, Asiya?
Yes, Rodney is a dear friend and colleague. We have been playing in other places together. We first met at a festival in Cayman Islands that we both were a part of for multiple seasons now. And we at first performed there a series of concerts and loved playing with each other. And so just started to do more things together and planning other performances elsewhere as well. And he's just such a infectiously fun human being, and of course phenomenal virtuoso. And the program that we have prepared blends really fantastic classical repertoire pieces, such as pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach and Hummel, but we're also playing Elvis Presley and Leonard Bernstein, and things that Virgins of Macerena, and just things that are going to blow everyone's mind away. So it's just a blend of a little bit of everything, and I'm also going to be playing my solo piano arrangement of Bernstein's Maria from West Side Story, so it's gonna be fun.
So you're doing duets.
Yes.
But you're also doing, each of you doing solos.
I'm doing 2 solo pieces in between of sets of duets that we're doing.
Nice, wonderful.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this program will have something for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
It's definitely going to have some fun things and some more classical things, and
classical things are fun
well,
too.
they are fun too. Yes. I didn't mean it that way.
I know.
But if you are concerned that this is just going to be a classical performance, don't be concerned.
Yes.
Come. It's going to have a lot of different elements to it.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds like something that would be attractive to young people,
Absolutely.
especially those who are considering or are playing piano or considering a brass instrument like the trumpet.
Yeah.
It can only be fun for them too.
And both myself and Rodney, we do a lot of work with kids because in our travels we do a lot of outreach work and coming to schools and playing our repertoire for that. So we're very accustomed to talking with children after the concerts and showing them around our instruments and answering the questions. So we absolutely welcome young audiences to the concerts because, first of all, the music is very engaging, and then you can always come up and hang out with artists and ask questions. And we're happy to tell you more about this career if you want to pursue one.
That's great. So, where are you going from here? You must have quite an agenda.
From here, I'm going to New York City for 2 weeks. Next week, starting next week, I'm putting together there, I'm directing a music festival that runs for 6 concerts. And there's both concerts in which I'm playing at and concerts that I'm presenting other musicians at. And so I will be there consecutively for 2 weeks. So.
Now, when you visit a city, do you have any leisure time, in order to do a little tours?
I try to. It is very important to have, a balance of really great involvement in what you do and having time off. I'm a big avid walker and hiker, and just like to be visiting museums and have good food sometimes as well. So it is also important that New York is such a big city, and I have a lot of friends and wonderful connections there. So there's always a visit to a place like that involves something that you're performing or somebody that you visit, and just having really packed but wonderful time.
And when you were in Switzerland, did you ever time to hike a mountain?
Yes, we went to Alps in Brienz area, and it was mind-blowing. It's just it was my first time taking time to go for a whole day into the Alps, and I really enjoyed that because it provided me a wonderful comparison and an opportunity to wonder how nature forms, because I adore Yosemite, for instance. I have hiked Mount Washington a number of times at this point.
Really?
Yes, I will go every summer. We go to the summit and back, and so there are similarities and differences within each mountain. So it was amazing, and Alps, of course, have the advantage of that turquoise lakes surrounding the Alps, which is just something else. Yeah.
When you were growing up in Russia, did you have the opportunity to hike any mountains there? Where did you live?
I grew up in Moscow.
Oh, you did?
And Moscow is fairly flat.
Yes.
In order to get to the mountains, one would have to travel quite far. And at the time, I didn't have that opportunity. It was really traveling to such distance was at the time more difficult, more expensive, and I definitely was more involved, just working on developing my skills as a pianist and composer and doing my studies. So I hope at some point I will be able to maybe return and have an opportunity to do that. But no, the majority of my hiking in this life has been done in the United States.
Were you there? I mean, I have no idea how old you are, so I visited the Soviet Union in 1963, and at that time I had been a student at the University of Stockholm for a year.
That's amazing.
And it was April vacation. It was Easter in Moscow.
Yeah.
And I can remember Easter Eve, these little old ladies with their, what do you call it, hupushka?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And candles, and walking around the cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite amazing, especially because during those times, most people in Russia had, at least publicly, sworn off religion. So here these were these very elderly women who were a sort of a remnant from the past. And I found that so very interesting and very moving. And again, there was it was a study group from Sweden. It included 2 Fulbright scholars from America, and they asked me for if I had any nylon stockings.
Those were a rarity at those times, of course.
So I gave them my nylon stockings, and they met 2 students who, interestingly enough, were from the university. They were studying economics at the University of Moscow.
Wow.
So they were on the, practicing what they learned on the black market. And
Yes.
and so and if I had a Ray Conniff album, that could have sold for so much money, but unfortunately I didn't. But it was very interesting, and I met a student. One of those economics students. Actually, both of them. They wanted to meet American girls, so I was I 20 at the time, and my friend Jean, also 20, and is from a student who was in Munich, and who was studying at Harvard. She spoke fluent Russian. So,
Wow, amazing.
yes, and I spoke fluent English and Swedish. So these 2 guys met us the next day, and these Fulbright guys said, "You've got to come and meet these guys. They want to meet American girls." And so we did. And the one I had, his name was Valerie. Am I pronouncing that right?
Valerie?
Valerie?
Valerie, yeah.
Yeah. And I never forgot that name. And he was so nervous because I, being the inquisitive person I am, asked too many questions.
Oh.
At a time when in the Soviet Union, you really had to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
And so, and I asked questions, about the government and religion and so forth. And apparently I scared him away because we were supposed to meet the next morning at 9:30 for breakfast, and only Jean's friend showed up.
Well, at that time, of course, their perspective was they couldn't understand or know why you're asking this question. It would be very difficult to determine between natural curiosity and like, oh, she's asking on behalf of some other entity, right? So it is sad that the conversation didn't continue, but it is also incredible that you were able to visit the country at that time and see how it was back then. It's quite,
Yes.
quite.
And I mean, I was 20 and carefree, so I didn't get nervous or upset or anything. Especially when I was arrested by a citizen because I was taking a photo of a scene that wasn't really acceptable to be promoted outside of the Soviet Union. And so when she said, "I'm going to go," so Jean translated because she understood the woman, and she said, "I'm going to go fetch a policeman," and she said, told this man who was sort of short and stout to stay with us. So I had put my camera in these very deep pockets, and I said, "What? Camera? Do you see a camera? I don't see a camera." And then so then he looks both ways, and then he says, "Go." And we had been on our way to St. Peter's, the great museum.
The Hermitage Museum, yeah.
Right. But we just ran right by it to the bus stop and went back. And we went to the Octoberus Hotel. I'm sure that's not what it's named anymore.
Yeah, probably not, yeah.
No. And so we went in, and all of a sudden, one of the gals who was in our group was being, on one side was the Soviet guide who was always present on our bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on our tours. And she was really a spy. We understood that. And then a gentleman, very big man, and they were taking this young student who was sobbing and opened these big doors and went in and shut the doors. And I said, "Oh my God, what did she do?" She took a photo that she shouldn't have taken. Wasn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how things change, and over time things have changed dramatically. And you are here in the States, and for anybody who's out there who wants to hear Asiya perform, both ECAT has the performance from the spring, but also go to YouTube. And you can find a large number of performances that Asiya has done. She does some fantastic, is it Transposition Tuesdays or something like that? Where she just sits down and transposes a piece on the fly. And it is fun to watch those and to see that happening.
So the name is Asiya, A-S-I-Y-A, and the last name is Korepanova, which is spelled K-O-R-E-P-A-N-O-V-A. So that's important to find you on YouTube. But what I was getting at was, somehow there was a time when Russians were allowed to leave Russia. So you were part of that exodus, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. The majority of people who were leaving once it was possible to do so left in the beginning of the 90s.
I see.
Yeah. So 91, 92, 93, there was a big migration, let's put it this way. And I came to the United States in 2012, and I originally came as a doctoral student. So
I see. So you were on a student visa?
Yes. At first I was on student visa.
And so how did you manage to stay here?
Well, after I finished my studies, I applied for a program called National Interest Waiver. It is similar to artistic visa. You basically need to submit an evidence of 10 years of your international career, proving that you would be a valuable addition to the country's cultural scene. And I had an extensive archives of performances that were spanning more than 10 years of international career. So I had a file about this tall, and I'm not exaggerating. So my lawyers who were preparing the case for me were laughing at me because they were like, well, we've made files before preparing people who had this amount of material, and you have this, so you're good.
So what was the response in Russia? Didn't they react negatively to that?
No, because response in Russia that I was able to encounter was in professional circles, and professional circles were very excited for me to join the studio of the renowned Professor Santiago Rodriguez, with whom I was studying at the University of Miami. And Santiago Rodriguez is a world-renowned pianist, and I, growing up, and my colleagues growing up, we were all listening to his recordings and marveling at them. So it's a huge honor to join a studio of a person like that. So people were, by and large, excited and probably envious of me.
And so you got married too. You married an American?
No, I got married back in Russia.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay, so your husband is from Russia?
Yes.
I see. Are you free to travel back there and visit family?
Yes, but we haven't been for over 3 years.
But you wouldn't have a problem? You hope not?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
No, well, now as citizens of the United States, we prefer to not travel at the moment.
I see. Okay. So you are one of us.
Yes.
Well, I think it's important to understand that background because when you were growing up, the Soviet Union was still in power, right?
Yes.
And that must have been difficult. Did that impede your studies at all? Did that get in the way of your studies? Were you able to continue to study and give concerts and so forth? There wasn't everybody was encouraging you at that time, right?
When I was growing up.
Yes.
Oh well, Russia has and always has had, especially in the course of 20th century, a very deep and ingrained early education for musicians, ballet dancers, artists, actors,
And athletes.
And athletes. So it was quite the opposite, because for generations of people, the only way to see the world was to be an incredible musician, an incredible athlete, an incredible ballet dancer, and something else incredible. So I went to the school that it's a 11-year school before the conservatory. Conservatory is like a bachelor's and master's degree together. And I went to this professional school where from first grade you have in-depth study of all the musical subjects along with all regular subjects, and we have examinations from first grade.
Oh my goodness.
Similarly, would imagine a training somebody who wants to become a tennis star would go to. So from 6 years old, you practice 5-6 hours a day. So for me and a lot of my colleagues who grew up being musicians in Russia, we had the same thing. So it's as intense of training as it is in the sports. So the earlier you start and the harder your work, the better off you in the later time. So if anything, Soviet Union was really good at promoting early education in a very serious
That's
way.
really amazing.
Yeah.
That you were 6 years old and practicing 5 or 6 hours a day.
Well, it's 6 hours. 6 hours a day were more like when I was maybe 8 and 9, but it definitely was not a couple hours a week. So
Yes.
I had to play a program that I would have to memorize and perform. So as a first grader, memorizing 20 minutes of music and performing it
But
was,
you
was
must
a
have
normal
had
thing.
a talent also, or they wouldn't have accepted you, right?
The schools like these are highly competitive. They're merit-based. They ask you to perform different tricks. They check your ear, they check your rhythm, they check your ability to memorize, they check how well you perform artistically. So yes, it is.
At 6 years of age.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're benefiting from all that hard work you put in.
Exactly.
Your playing is just superb.
So let's do a repeat of what's happening this Sunday.
Yes, so on this Sunday, June 8th, we have a program, the summer program called Trumpet Virtuosity. Asiya and Rodney Marsalis, a trumpeter, will be performing duets. Asiya will also be performing a few piano pieces. And it's a very broad concert in the program because there's classical and there's modern. It is going to be a fun event. So if you are looking for tickets, and I hope you are, go to unitychurchofnortheastern.org, where you'll find a link to purchase your tickets for the concert this Sunday. We do have limited space in the church, so make sure you can get your tickets ahead of time. Tickets will also be sold at the door if we have space, so we look forward to seeing you there. And this is the second in our series of 4 concerts. We have 2 more coming up, as we said earlier. And Asiya, do you want to talk a little bit about the fall and winter concerts?
Yes, of course. On September 28th, we are going to have a very special concert featuring Vivaldi's famous violin concertos of 4 seasons, featuring a Romanian violinist, globetrotter as well, Irina Mureșanu, and an ensemble of string players. We have a little orchestra and her. And what's special is Vivaldi's 4 seasons were written exactly 300 years ago, and it is a 300th anniversary of our town. So it could not be a better coincidence to feature this work for all of you to enjoy, and I hope that everyone is going to feel the importance of this.
That's going to be quite a celebration.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Asiya and
Thank you
David,
for having us.
for joining me today. Until next time, be well.